Hi, my name is Whitney, and since summer is almost over, I thought it would be a nice farewell to end it with a tag. This is the book garden tag, and there is one similar to this, but not the same. I will link it down below. If I'm being honest, I really don't like summer. I'm much more partial to fall and spring. But this year, I have discovered my new love for gardening, and so I thought I would incorporate gardening and books together since they're two of my favorites. Also, this video will be featuring little clips from my actual garden. So number one is tomatoes. Because everyone always talks about how there's nothing like biting into a homegrown tomato, name a book that was well worth the wait or the hype. For this one, I chose Restore Me by Tahereh Mafi, and as you can see, I enjoyed this book. It's actually the first book I ever wrote in because I couldn't contain my feelings and I had to get them out somehow. Ever since writing in this book, I have now become an annotator. I write in my books and it's crazy to me. You know, no more museum-like quality in the pages. I like to get my feelings out. So number one is Restore Me. Number two is roses, because roses have fresh blooms every day, even after some of them wilt. Which book could you reread from start to finish over and over again? And for this one, I chose Eclipse by Stephenie Meyer. Now hear me out. I know everyone's probably read this book a million times, but something about it, every time I have read the Twilight series, this one has always been my favorite, and I just would get such warm and fuzzy feelings inside while reading it. So if I ever need to go to my happy place, I'll probably find it in this book, though I haven't reread it in years. Number three is Aloe Vera, which has so many benefits and medicinal uses. Name a book that offered more than you expected, whether it be in terms of plot, or maybe you got a lot from it and you didn't expect to, or maybe you thought it was going to be something, but it turned out to be something completely different. For this one, I chose Sing You Home by Jodi Picoult, not really sure. But this book, though I've read others by her before, offered something I was not expecting. In it, there is a CD with tracks that correlate to the chapters, so you can set the tone and the mood for each chapter of the book. I thought this was such a cool added benefit, and it really did add to the story, believe it or not. Also, this book features a main character with the occupation of a music therapist. I had actually never heard of that career before, and it was really interesting to see what that was like, and really cool. I actually learned a lot more from this book than I thought I would. Number four, Forget-Me-Nots, which take a really long time to bloom but are so pretty. Name a gem of a book that you think deserves more attention. And for this, I chose The Princess Diaries. Now, everyone has seen The Princess Diaries movie with Anne Hathaway and Mandy Moore. I love that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. And I love the second one with dreamy Chris Pine. But I always wanted them to make a third one so I could see what happens after the second one. And in order to kind of fill that emptiness in my heart, I decided to read the books. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. A lot of times when there's a really popular movie or TV show, sometimes the book kind of lets people down if they're really invested in the show or movie. And I was worried that the books would ruin the movie for me because it's one of my all-time favorites, but this actually added so much more to the story than I thought it would, and I actually kind of like the books better, but I really don't hear people talking about them, and I've actually never met anyone who's read them either. But I have to say, it was so worth it, and these books really do deserve more attention because so much more happens, and there's so many more characters, and it's very different. Number five is Time. Name a book that you enjoyed, even though it took you forever to read. And for this, I chose Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I loved this book. It took me forever to get through because it's a classic, and you kind of need to pay attention to classics. You can't just zoom right through a classic and just pay no attention. I wanted to absorb every word from this book, and I did, and it took me some time. Number six, Artichoke. This plant never blossomed for me, and I have no idea why because it started off so great. So, name a series that started off great but ultimately ended up falling short or disappointing you. And for this was really hard for me to choose, but I ended up going with A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. I actually really love this book, but I enjoyed the first two so much more for some reason. I think maybe it was because I had expectations for certain things to happen in this book, and they didn't. So maybe I kind of set myself up for disappointment. Also, I audiobooked this one, whereas I read the first two. So I'm not sure if that had to do with it. Again, I love this book, but I have to say I liked the first two better. Number 7, Seedlings. Name the book coming out this fall or winter that you are most excited for. I mean, it has to be Queen of Air and Darkness, right? Because what else would it be? It has to be Queen of Air and Darkness. I so enjoyed creating this tag for you guys, and I tag you watching the video to do it too, or to answer these questions in the comments below. See you guys in the fall, and thank you for watching. Bye! But this year, I have discovered my new love for gardening. Anyway, moving on.